So markets run on sentiment, okay? And rhetoric, especially from Trump, is going to affect sentiment in a good way, at least in the short term.
Military stocks like Lockheed Martin going up a lot, which is obvious because Trump he likes to tease other countries as well.
He has made many promises, and only a portion of it, I'm sure, will come into fruition.
Energy is going to be trouble for sure, but we have to be paying a lot of attention in what they are actually planning to do and what are the changes they're going to have on the ground. Are they going to take out the Inflation Act? What sort of changes? Because now they have a sweep. So everybody woke up today to the Trump's new republic. It seems we got a red sweep in the United States of America, and the world is going crazy. Everybody's now preparing and changing their portfolios to see how they're going to be investing and what they're going to be doing for the next 4 years. I think we're going to be trading. A lot of people think we're going to be investing. This is going to be an interesting one, so make sure to stay tuned. We have 3 popular investors here where they're going to be discussing each of their expertise and let you know what they're doing with their portfolios, what they think of the current market, what are we heading into, and hopefully try to make you some money. So let's get it started. So first things first, right? We got the election. It's an interesting one for sure. The question is like, what happened? And where are we heading? Who wants to take the lead on this one?
All right, so let me go first since I'm US centric. My portfolio is US centric. So in the conversation last week, I was like, I expected Trump to win based on the numbers that they were giving us, but on the macro level, it's going to have some effect of the election. But within the stock market, I think whoever won, it will be the same. The reaction to the market today, it's more obvious because of Trump and Mimi and Timothy are more invested in crypto than me. So they probably noticed the craziness in the early hours in the crypto market. So nothing changes as far my portfolio. Whatever I was investing, I'm just going to continue staying within the United States. But yeah, it was a long night, and even though I expected it, I was a bit surprised in the morning that the whole thing went smoothly, and here we are the next day waiting for the market to open.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
definitely. I
if
mean,
you just look at sorry, Mimi, if you just look at the pre-market, there's different things to notice.
Mhm.
For example, you see military stocks like Lockheed Martin going up a lot, which is obvious because Trump he likes to tease other countries as well.
Mhm.
But also, if you look at manufacturing infrastructure, like Caterpillar stock is going up double digits. So it's not only crypto. So uh, there is some sign that in a Republican uh, country that some stocks will do better or some sectors will perform better, I guess.
Yes.
yeah, most definitely. I mean, it definitely has been, in terms of the crypto market, it has been a fairly positive day for the market. But I wouldn't say I'm surprised at all. Uh, going, before results, I've always said, the impact of who will win will just be short-lived. If it's Trump, if it's Harris, it will just be short-lived. If it's Harris, there's a pullback. Most likely, if it was Trump, then we'll see a massive surge. Uh, I think what the biggest catalyst would be the Federal Reserve meeting in a day. So next, I think tomorrow it's on, and that will set the tone for the next 12 months of how, the crypto market will perform. But obviously, with this Trump win, the crypto market is very, very, everybody's quite excited about it. I think what we need to take into consideration also is taking a close eye at the policies that will be announced or spoken about in this week, and then also there's a lot of talk about how Bitcoin. We're just talking about Bitcoin specifically, how Bitcoin rallies after each election. And one thing in terms of like projections, people are talking about 150,000 in the next 12 months, or over 200,000 K for Bitcoin. But we've got to take into consideration, the rule of diminishing returns. And if we look at the past few elections, you've got like that from like 2012, you've got like 1,000% or more. And then it just like in 2020, I think it was 478% in terms of Bitcoin rising. And so if you take that, we could possibly be looking at between 100K to 150K for Bitcoin. And that's something to really watch out for. And that's something I'd be very cautious of, not being too bullish at this point, and just keeping an eye on where the crypto market will go over the next few months. A lot of things will be in play. That's my take on it for now.
You and I have a similar view, but the last time we spoke, Dimitri had a different point of view on that sense, in the sense of, Trump is going to be positive for the markets until the end of the year. I think you said your last time, Dimitri.
Yeah, I did, because so markets run on sentiment, okay? And rhetoric, especially from Trump, is going to affect sentiment in a good way, at least in the short term. Because I remember the last presidency, I was in the US and he was on TV a lot. He was on TV every single day, okay? The new all-time high for the Dow Jones, he made sure I was on TV speaking about something irrelevant, but throwing the all-time high from the stock market. So I know he's going to do the same. And so as far, that's one. Mimi mentioned the Fed meeting in a couple of days, and the expectation was 0.25.
Correct.
I have the feeling it might be a 0.5.
That's a hot take. That's
It
a
is a
hot
hot take.
take.
It is a hot take, because if I was him, I'm calling Jay Powell already, and I'm telling him, you know what? If you give me some cuts like right now, I might let you keep your job. And I know it sounds funny, but that's the way he does things. So if you hear like a possible 0.5 going into the Fed meeting tomorrow, that's just my 2 cents.
There
That's a
is
little.
like
That's a little.
Yeah, there's like a little issue with the Republican sweep, because you, Nestor, mentioned it before. For the Republican sweep, there are good signs and concerns. Like Trump, he mentioned that he want to impose tariffs, and we know that imposing tariffs will increase like the prices of importing goods into the country, which could eventually lead to higher inflation. So it should also be not discounted that we should cut the rates too soon, just to make sure inflation keeps in check. There is like one thing I'm looking forward to is to fire Lina Khan. I don't know if you know her, but she's the head of the FTC, and she's the one who is going after all those big companies like Meta, Google, Visa, because they have like big monopolies. And that's actually what I invest the most in these companies that have big monopolies. And when she's constantly trying to sue them, the stock keeps getting hit. So I hopefully with the Republican sweep they can kick her out.
That'd be interesting. Well, that's another thing that we definitely have to talk about, and it's just like how the U.S. market and the tech market has going forward, right? It's an interesting perception. If we look at the sort of heat map, everything is sort of green today, except for like green energy, right? Like the Kamala trade sort of lost completely, so everything is coming in the reds. I think First Solar was down 10% this morning when I checked, which hurts, but it's interesting what's going to happen, because all of a sudden you had Trump in his last election saying, oh, EVs, we don't believe in that. We need to get rid of green energy and all that stuff. But then now Elon Musk is in his pocket. So all of a sudden you have all of these people that were in favor of Trump, and might be just because Trump might just, now we're in a world where everything can change. All of a sudden we can have, oh, I like this policy today because he's my friend. And now all of a sudden we have Tesla jumping up 10%. at the pre-market. We have Bitcoin, massive rally right now, just because apparently he's going to be buying crypto for the treasury, which would be fantastic. Another country to the pile. Buy my Bitcoin for all I care. It's fantastic. So, but we also have to be paying attention. So, question down here goes, what do you think? Each of you give me a little bit. What do you think happens? Like, what are you looking at specifically? What stocks do you like? What stocks you don't like? And how you plan to take it forward for the next, let's keep it short for the next 6 months, but then in reality for the next 4 years.
Yeah. All right, so let me go first. The first thing that I'm not going to be buying into the Trump presidency is energy. Oil, I love ExxonMobil and I have like a big position. I think it's like 5% of my portfolio, and it did very well during the 4 years of Biden. I'm not going to be increasing my energy exposure during Trump because he likes energy. So he's going to do everything he can to increase the supply and get the prices down. So lower prices in the pump is not good for investors. It's good for consumers. So that's the one thing I'm staying away from. Obviously, anything Europe and Asia related, I'm not touching. It's going to be like a lot of things going on, tariffs, and he's going to get like into fights with companies and regulators like in Europe, like through Twitter. I'm telling you, it's gonna get crazy. You're gonna have like another thing to worry now, on top of whatever you worried already about markets. Trump is like the X factor. So for me, energy and emerging markets and Europe, as far as I'm concerned, are like off the table.
Yeah,
Me
for me,
personally, okay, Mimi, go.
you go,
Mimi.
Timothy.
Let's.
No,
Oh,
Timothy,
okay,
you go, Timothy.
Me,
There's a
me
bit of a lag
personally,
there.
yeah, that's why. So me personally, I'm going high on healthcare because
Hmm.
you know, biotech and healthcare, they could perform really well if there are going to be less tax implications or research grants. And I've been waiting a long time for healthcare to recover. We haven't seen that yet. But with the Republican seat, I think we could see that pumping into stocks like Thermo Fisher, Viva System. Uh, I'm clearly pumping my own bags here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's fair.
for me, I still, in terms of my convictions, it still stands in terms of cryptocurrency. Although, he is very, Trump is very pro crypto, I am still going to watch everything quite closely. He has made many promises, and only a portion of it, I'm sure, will come into fruition. So that's something I'm going to watch very carefully. In terms of, I'm very passionate about like the AI and the gaming sector as well, and that is imminent. Like that's definitely going to happen. Go ahead. It's just more a case of like where am I going to put my money in terms of AI and gaming. Uh, the top like 5, top 10 are still going to stay as they are. But it's more of a case of like making sure that I'm prepared for like an evolving, changing, and adapting to an environment it'll be a bit of a roller coaster with Trump regardless. But my stance in terms of crypto, my conviction it remains the same. I'm just going to focus a lot more on the AI and gaming industry. And the fact that he's a populist figure as well, it goes hand in hand with meme coins as well. So there's a lot of talk about, the meme super cycles that are coming, and that's a very interesting area. And I will do a lot of research because with that area, there's a lot of risk involved. But I'm very, very interested in that, and so I will watch this space for more information. You want
Yeah,
to
it's
say something,
very.
Nesta? I see your face.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you say that because I think a couple of days ago, Elon Musk started like posting about the Doge, started reposting Doge comments and stuff, right? So all of a sudden, I think the last Trump election, I was always paying attention to Twitter, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with DJT as well, right? Because again, it's a very meme stock like behavior sort of stock in a sense. But at the same time, we also have to take into consideration that now he's going to probably use that as his megaphone, because he does have a stake in it, and probably use Twitter on the side as well for things that are not so important. But I remember back in the day, one of my screens, telling you that I have 4 screens right in front of me, one of my screens was always Twitter, right? And I always had the different feeds, and for crypto, you definitely got to have Elon Musk on go, ready, just be able to see whatever he's posting. You're able to just make a trade, a couple of dollars here and there, if you catch it just in the perfect time. And with Trump, it's the same thing, because he'll let you know about the tariffs, he'll let you know what he's thinking through social and TikTok. So I'm guessing now I have to make a True Social account, which is nuts. But yeah, I mean, in terms of my portfolio, I keep the same, right? The AI story continues to be strong. Cryptocurrencies right now, with the possibility of entering the treasury of the United States and potentially going even more global, could even. Now, the possibility of Bitcoin dethroning the dollar at some point in the near future becomes a little bit more real, right? So that's also something that's fantastic. So cryptocurrencies I'm paying attention to, but I like the miners a little bit more, just because they are the sort of core and they maintain the network. But the AI story continues to be true, and now we have to figure out exactly because I agree with you, energy is going to be trouble for sure, Dimitri. Energy is going to be trouble for sure. So we have to be paying a lot of attention in what they are actually planning to do, and what are the changes they're going to have on the ground. Are they going to take out the Inflation Act? What sort of changes? Because now they have a sweep, so they're able to just like play around and try to impose as much change as he wants. And we have to remember one important thing: he doesn't have to rerun. So we have one of the craziest men alive in power, not having to answer to anybody, full control of every single American power, and now he can do whatever he wants because he doesn't care what happens after the next 4 years.
So now that you say that, in the second term, that you're not looking for re-election and you have like the House and the Senate, it's the opportunity to make your legacy play.
Correct.
So what's the legacy play? I mean, in your opinion, guys, what do you see? What do you think is the legacy play for Trump? Something to do with the country? Is it like infrastructure? Is it like, what is it? I think it's infrastructure, basically. I think that he wants to create like, like the highway was created by Eisenhower, and it's like the legacy. So that's what is missing. What is the legacy play that he's going to trying to do, and how we can benefit from investing in it? So I'm curious to hear your opinions.
Yeah. It's the American trade. It's America first, right? So we're going to be seeing a lot of investment in energy, a lot of investment in data centers, a lot of investment in even infrastructure, like you say, within the States. The question is which companies are going to take advantage of it, and it's the companies that take advantage, like that are in its favor. So Tesla is likely to benefit from potential tax cuts. Maybe he maintains the American tax cuts, but everything that comes from outside just gets a 60% tariff. Next thing you know, American companies just have an advantage. They have the edge, right? So all of a sudden you're seeing American companies prevail, right? And the scary thing is just the rest of the world now has to look at the bar tab and say, oh, now he wants me to pay how much? He wants and like defense company, like Timothy was saying, are just going to go through the roof, just because it's like, now you got to buy American or get out. So that's at least my take.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, so one thing I think Trump will fuel a lot will be the small caps in the US. So he's into making the US very, very big, and let's say the economy needs to be number one of the world. So he's gonna fuel the small caps with more incentives, and with those tariffs, he's gonna also favor the domestic production. So that's why I personally have allocated more into the small caps ETF. I'm not gonna try to pick the stocks myself, because it's very speculative, like altcoins itself. So I'm just going to bet safe on the small cap ETF because that's also in favor for US economy.
Are you referring to the Russell 2000?
The
Uh,
AWM?
yes, and for me in Europe, we have to buy ETFs that mimic the Russell. I can't personally buy the
Oh,
Russell itself.
it was 6% in the morning. It was like 6% up. Okay. Yes.
So much money being created right now. It's
The key.
crazy.
How about you, Mimi?
I mean, I don't have much to add to that aside from the fact that, just to remember that in terms of digital assets and cryptocurrency, Trump does have skin in the game. He's got his own little ICO projects and everything that he's done with his sons. So that he's already spoken about pushing innovation, digital assets, being America being number one in terms of the crypto hub for the entire world. So I don't really have a lot to add to that aside from I'm just going to see what will come into fruition. That's really it. What he's promised and what he will actually execute.
One thing
Can I
to
give like a warning for those who invest in altcoins? Because people keep saying altcoin season is coming, season is coming, but the fact is it's already here. It's just not all altcoins. So you have to be really careful in which one is you're picking, and you have to check like the valuation against the Bitcoin chart itself. Like if the altcoin is dropping, like Cardano, it's not worth holding it. If it's going up against Bitcoin like Solana, it's gonna continue to do well in the next phase of this cycle. So just be careful. Don't just pick altcoins like that, but try to see how they perform against Bitcoin and other players, big players like Solana as well.
Hmm.
Timothy, do you actually think that alt season's already here?
Yeah, it's here because you see multiple altcoins going up double digits while other ones are lagging. And for me, altcoin season doesn't mean that all altcoins will go up, but there's so many altcoins right now that it's impossible for all of them to go up. So you have to just accept that the ones that are lagging behind will continue to lag behind and just move on to the ones that have been performing well this cycle so far. And that's Solana. We're seeing the meme coins like Doge, Dogweed Hat, and all the other ones. So be careful with the ones that has done nothing before. I've been in coins like Link, coins like XRP, and I'm sorry to say, but I've got loss on them because I know they're just continue to lag behind, and I prefer to bet on the winners than continue to hold on those losers.
Yeah, I do
Well,
see where you're coming from.
look, go ahead.
Yeah,
I want to ask you
yeah.
after. Go ahead.
For for me personally, I think what I want to see is firstly Bitcoin dominance to decrease, and once that happens, then it's really just from experience. But then all the years do change, all the cycles do change. But once Bitcoin dominance does decrease, we see that go down, then we'll see alt season to come in full force. I could be completely wrong, but from what I've seen in the past is that unless, and I said this a day ago, unless I see that the alts or particular tokens are showing like 20 plus percentages in a day, that's when it's here. That's when it's here. If it's 6%, if it's even 15%, to me that's not enough. I'm just like, it's not here yet. Even the bull cycle is not really triggered in full force until you see every single day it's like 20%, 30%. That's what I've seen in the past. This time around, obviously, like I said, the rule of diminishing returns, I do think that even if that rule does apply, this is going to be a different cycle. And some people may disagree with me, but this may be the very, very last of the most parabolic run in the history of crypto. This could be it. This is it. And then obviously in time, crypto will continue to rise, in my opinion, going through different cycles. But this specific one could be the very last. And I don't think it's really here yet, but I could be wrong as well.
Hmm.
Dimitri.
Yeah, something I was thinking earlier because the election happened, and then you have to think ahead, like what Trump's gonna do. And now we're talking about crypto, and Timothy just mentioned XRP, and XRP has troubles with SEC. And as soon as Trump takes over, Gary Gensler, he will be the first to go. And if he does us a favor and gets like a Bitcoin bull or someone friendly, known to be friendly to crypto, then you're gonna see, in my opinion, you're gonna see the alt season taking off because then you expect like Solana ETF, XRP ETF, like you name it, we're gonna make an ETF, we're gonna make a bunch of ETFs together. So yeah, that's a potential catalyst with the beginning of the year. Who will be the new head of the SEC, and is it gonna be friendly for crypto?
Very true. Very true. Something to pay
Agree.
attention for sure because XRP has been lagging so much.
The
So
stable
much.
coin.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Well, guys, I think
Really
That was a good joke. That was a good joke.
Oh
nice one,
man.
Timothy.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh man. But yeah, I think we've covered everything pretty much. By the way, let me just tell everybody this episode is sponsored by us. So make sure you go into the description and check out our portfolios, see if you like it. If you want to copy, copy. And if you don't want to copy, don't copy. Just pay attention to what we're doing because we're paying attention to markets every single day.